Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. And in this video, we're going to talk about some of that government money that's going around. And the Wall Street Journal put out an article that small towns chase America's $3 trillion climate gold rush. The Inflation Reduction Act demands a leap of faith from communities around the country that are committing significant local resources in hopes of attracting new industry. And that is in hopes of attracting. But this $3 trillion, it's government incentives, it's government money, it's government loans, and that's not free market capitalism. But this was April 23rd, 2023 in Walterboro, South Carolina, Colleton County, which is a quiet rural district best known for hunting, fishing, and recently a sensational murder trial. It is also now a player in America's new gold rush, a scramble for $1 trillion in federal tax incentives and loans for green energy that is fueling a flood of corporate investments and reshaping local economies. It's the biggest spending since Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal. If successful, it could transform the nation's economy by creating millions of jobs and driving up to $3 trillion in total clean energy investments during the next decade. That sounds good, but this is all government money. Okay, this is government incentives. You know what isn't free market capitalism? Government incentives. And you know what they're not discussing here? Solutions that we need way above clean energy, which is last. Are we utilizing hemp? No. Are they going to be building hemp battery factories? No. Are they going to be doing hemp building, hemp clothes, hemp fuel, hemp textile products, hemp everything, hemp rope, hemp sails, hemp? No, none of that. No, just this pipe dream of clean energy. Okay, are they going to be building reusables so that we can end our disposable society? No, potentially out of hemp. No. We're just still pushing this ridiculous clean energy, and this maybe is reshaping local economies only for short periods of time, because these government incentives, federal government incentives, aren't all that's needed, because right now communities around the country are committing significant local resources to attract businesses, sometimes in unproven industries, and some of these communities have been burned before. So that Inflation Reduction Act over the next decade, this is what they're investing in: renewable power, power networks, building efficiency, charging and fueling, refueling, heat pumps, carbon capture, energy storage, bioenergy, hydrogen, carbon removal. Do you see any hemp there? No. Do you see any getting away from plastics there? No. No. There's nothing that is actually a solution that could operate without government subsidies. Okay? Elon Musk, Tesla is a government subsidized organization. A lot of people criticize him. SpaceX, that's a government partnership. He's made a lot of money having the government back him. Will the government back real solutions? No. Elon says he's doing more for the environment than anyone. He's not. Okay. No, I'm not allowed to do the most for the environment that the world really needs. And his electric vehicles are not a solution. But in December, Colleton, this county in South Carolina, snagged a $279 million investment from Control Matic Technologies, Energy and Engineering, a Turkish firm, not even an American firm, a Turkish firm that's hoping to get nearly $1 billion in federal tax credits over the next decade by building battery making plants in the U.S. They want to tap into the renewable energy sector, need to store electricity for release onto the grid when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing. A Turkish company with $1 billion in tax credits. Okay, I'm not sure how that's helping America, just because it might bring a few jobs to a small county. And what they plan to produce is 3 gigawatt hours worth of batteries each year, and that's enough to power 540,000 homes for an hour. There's 350 million people in this country, and they're going to power a minimal amount of people for an hour. And that's $1 billion worth of tax credits. Okay, see, that's what's the problem here. Government subsidies, it don't happen in a free market economy. But is going to employ 575 people at some of the highest wages around. However, that may sound good. They're going to very low wage communities. Okay. So they're just giving people who earn some of the lowest wages in America some higher wages. Okay. So it's not like these people are going to be just suddenly advanced into, really good jobs. And in return for this, the state and county are offering land grants and local tax breaks. So, Colleton County Council Chairman Stephen D. Murdaugh, who is a cousin of that convicted murderer, said he'll be honest, he has no idea what a gigawatt hour is, but he does know that a $279 million investment what it will do for their county. And he knows that it will impact 575 jobs on our community. So that's all he cares about. Okay, not an American company. So that company, Control-Matic, they were looking to build on sites in Europe and the Middle East, but when the U.S. introduced the tax credits, that was an important point to shift their investments here. So federal laws, most notably the Inflation Reduction Act, offer huge subsidies aimed at shifting the nation to renewables and building new industries to compete with clean energy powerhouse China. They sparked about 150 billion in investment announcements in renewables and battery storage in 8 months after the act passed. But where's real environmental action? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Okay, those batteries that they're producing aren't exactly good for the environment. Okay, or even good to have in your car or home. And they're also going to be producing some wind blades, and those compare nothing to the government ignoring the first 5 on the agenda of needed solutions, which if we did that, we wouldn't even be caring about this, and we would not be spending just massive sums of money that the United States government doesn't have to give tax breaks to foreign companies. But right here, estimates of the total private sector and public spending over the next decade, driven by the Inflation Reduction Act alone, range from several hundred billion to about $3 trillion. And in addition to the Inflation Reduction Act, there's billions on top of that in federal grants and direct spending. The United States government doesn't have this money. The United States government is in currency collapsing debt. So some say that it will reshape some local economies and it will revitalize and strengthen others. But a little further down, it notes that when projects fail, they could leave taxpayers in some communities with little to show. And ExxonMobil Corp CEO Darren Woods told investors in January energy giants are planning to partake in the subsidy bonanza as well. this is not a game for startups. So we're subsidizing a mega billion-dollar corporation. Okay, that's not free market capitalism for them to get into the electrical vehicle market. Why do you think the electrical vehicle market keeps getting press and sales? Because it's the only thing the government's pushing while refusing to actually just get behind real solutions that would actually do good and be sustainable. And these communities wouldn't worry about if this is going to fizzle out. And it says right here that large swaths of the investments so far are flowing into southern Republican leaning states such as South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee that generally have lower labor costs and taxes. So, yeah, they're going to be paying better wages for the workers, but these workers are very low wage workers. So, they're not really doing that much good for the American people. Right now, it says that Coloton's wages are 25% lower than the state average and 40% lower than the national wage, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So, okay, we're going to offer McDonald's workers a little higher wage. Okay, they're not doing that much good for the American people. They're doing a lot of good for big corporations and foreign corporations. And one of the CEOs of the company, the TPI, which is TPI Composites Inc., he said that his company would get tax credits totaling around $80,000 per blade of a wind turbine, enough to wipe out the labor cost differential with other countries and then some. Okay, so the government has allowed this country to be invaded for 5 decades with economic war soldiers against America who have reduced America's wages, made benefits non existent. They've allowed companies to offshore jobs that they can't bring enough third world here to destroy the American middle class. And now what they're doing is offering companies enough to wipe out the labor cost differential. Okay. And it'll be very interesting to see who is actually going to be employed in these companies. Is it going to be Americans? That is to be determined at this point. And here's what some of what they're looking to do. The blue, there's a lot of blue here. That's batteries and EVs. The green is renewable energy right here and here. And then there's one black, which is carbon capture. That's in West Virginia. So we got West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee that's courting these companies. But right here, a West Virginia Republican state Senator Robert Karnes said at a February legislative meeting that, we've got a battery company that's never made a battery. I don't know how you can call that anything other than a wild gamble. So, these counties are giving incentives and tax credits and the equivalent of cash to places, to companies that aren't even credentialed, aren't even proven in the industry. So yeah, it's a gamble, as they say. These could be shut down, and then these now thriving communities, without more government intervention, communism, could go back to where they were, or worse, with their citizens. It says up here they drive to other counties to get better jobs right now, but none of this is a guarantee to be long term. You know what would be? Oh, I know. Oh, that's right. Hemp, making reusable products. Hemp for everything. The hemp revolution. But that's right. Your government, along with every environmental voice out there, will not allow solutions. That's every White House since Gore Clinton. I didn't bother Bush and Cheney. They didn't talk environmental, and they would never do anything. But neither will the people that talk environmental. So they're spending huge amounts of money that the United States doesn't have on something that we don't know if it will pan out. And this is not an environmental agenda. This is just the agenda they're shoving down your throat while they are absolutely refusing. And unfortunately for the world, no media, no independent media, Alex Jones, James O'Keefe, Tucker Carlson, Mike Adams, Greg Hunter, Alex Newman, you name it, they will not tell you that there's actual real solutions. And we don't need to be burdening American taxpayers with this massive spending and something that is not even environmental when we could actually just be in free market capitalism, just creating industries that would actually do good and sustain. And they're not going away. You build a hemp factory to produce things, that's not going away ever. Okay? But the government won't allow it. So stay tuned, people.